Okay, gents, let's switch gears now and focus on Liverpool against Chelsea. Massive game at Anfield this weekend. I'm just going to go there with the big question around this game. We're going to focus on the game, of course, but which team has the better chance to still finish in the top four? Because it could be neither. That could be your answer, but they're both on 28 points heading into this game, 10 points off the top four ahead of this weekend. So, Nick, both are struggling. Let's just say that at the same time. We've seen this with Liverpool and Chelsea in the past when they have rebuilds, the squads are maybe aging and they've given them, given that squad just an extra couple of years than perhaps they should have and not been ruthless enough in the transfer window. What do we think? What's your big picture kind of situation and feelings on Liverpool and Chelsea between now and the end of the season? Because very similar situations in many ways, but very different in others.
I have quit on Liverpool too many times to not say the answer is Liverpool. I actually think, and I haven't done the math on it or whatever, I think they can make a serious charge up the table. They definitely look old. They definitely need to fix their midfield. But I think they have the horses to fix their midfield if they can just, and this will all come down to Jurgen Klopp. We hear him, the complaints, we hear him, can he move past his old horses? He relies on Jordan Henderson a lot. I think Jordan Henderson can be a useful piece for them, but he's not a horse anymore. And he successfully did this with James Milner. He has successfully did it with some others. He needs to figure out his midfielders, and he has to have the pieces there. We see him bring in Elliott late. Carvalho has dipped down the whatever you want to call it. I'm totally losing my words. I think Liverpool has a chance to make a surge way up the table. It's just a matter of where Jurgen Klopp's mind is, and I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, I think injuries have been obviously impacted both of these teams this season, right? I mean, when you think about Luis Diaz going down for Liverpool early, Chelsea's plethora of injuries across the entire team, but Reece James and Kante being particularly big losses for them. So, Andy, they've been unlucky, but they have regressed as well. And, Man United have figured it out. Arsenal figured it out. Tottenham for a while looked like they figured it out. Newcastle with the new kids on the block. So there's less room for error now with these teams. As I said, similarities but differences. Chelsea are buying a lot of new players. Liverpool don't have that luxury right now as their kind of ownership situation takes shape, and whoever's going to come in maybe will splash the cash, but not right now. So there's frustration, like Nick says, from Jurgen Klopp's side there, talking about, I'm not, what did he say? He said something about, I'm not stubborn enough to stick with these players. Like, I can figure it out and I'm not going to go anywhere. So yeah, this is tough, but who's in a better position for you? Because I agree with Nick. I think Liverpool, right, when the game in hand you look at and just how they can figure it out, but things can turn south pretty quickly for Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp. We've seen that over the years.
Yeah, somehow I think I'd rather be Tottenham than both these teams right now. And that's really saying something, just given the form that they're in. And also, since when do we preview mid-table clashes here on PST? Ninth hosting 10th. What show is this? I think if I have to pick one of the two teams, probably Liverpool, just because I think, one, they're closer to being semi-elite, fully healthy. Chelsea have an entire starting 11 that are out and unavailable at the moment. And I think they've shown that there's going to be a willingness to, I don't think they're going to throw this season away, but their business in the transfer window, as we've talked about already this week, is very forward thinking. It's not about this season. And so they might just have to take a bit of a loss on this season to be that team that goes in with a little bit of momentum and gets all the hype in the off season. So it is Liverpool, but I don't rate their chances to do it. I'm very skeptical of everything that you said, Nick. I think they have shown us time and again this season who they are. They're a team that can't defend. They're a team that can't control the game through possession anymore. They can still attack very quickly, but that's all they've got. And if you look at their last three games, obviously the battering from Brighton, the battering from Brentford, and even before that, they beat Leicester 2-1. Both goals came via own goal from Valface. So it's been a while since Liverpool have even looked functional, have even looked like a professional team out there, let alone a team that can be contending for the top four and closing what is a 10-point gap right now.
Yeah, but I think
Brighton and Fulham are ahead of them in the table as well. So no, you carry on, Nick. I just want to make that point that fair play to those teams, because the reason why Liverpool and Chelsea are in such a bad situation further down the table is that there are some very, very good and unexpected teams that are pushing for the top six.
Well, that's the point I wanted to make. I think it's a dysfunctional top half right now, with the exception of maybe Arsenal and maybe Man United is set, because Brentford, I just looked these things up, wanting to believe in Brentford, Fulham, Brighton, or Newcastle. Newcastle's performing 9 goals ahead of its expected goals against. They've only allowed 11 goals. Brentford has allowed over 100 shots more than it's taken from open play. Ben Mee is looking like one of the signings of the year. And
that can't be sustainable.
Fulham is 11 goals over expected goals against.
Wow.
So I just think Liverpool and Chelsea may rise based on the fact that it's difficult to imagine all these teams continuing to overperform the numbers.
Yeah, I think they'll finish above those teams, but I think Newcastle, United, probably probably Spurs, if they can figure something out, I think is more than enough to keep them at maybe not arm's length, but not truly in it down to the final day, even in my opinion.
Yeah, and this is going to be a big game this weekend to decide kind of the direction the rest of the season goes for both of these teams. I feel like it'll really set up some momentum for either if they can get a big win on the board. Talking about getting on the board, Mohamed Salah hasn't done that a lot this season, Nick. We're looking at his form in particular. I feel like it's kind of flown under the radar a little bit after he signed the new contract. Obviously, we expected him to just keep on those superhuman levels, right, of the last few seasons, but he's got 7 goals, 4 assists in 18 Premier League games so far this season. If we look at the last 3 seasons, you're talking 23 goals, 19 goals, 22 goals in the last 3 campaigns. So at the halfway point, he's well down on his previous kind of totals there. So what do we put this down to? Is he not being rotated in and out of the lineup? He never really was, right? And I think Sadio Mane, again, maybe took away a lot of the attention from Salah and opened up spaces for him. He hasn't had the support maybe with the injuries up top and just the lack of, I guess, impact that Nunez has had right away at Liverpool as well, right? So, yeah, help me out here, because Salah's a wonderful player. He usually turns up against Chelsea just to prove a point to them that they were wrong to let him go all those years ago. But, yeah, it's not been, again, it's been a part of Liverpool's demise this season so far, but not a main part that's been talked about that often. We focus on midfield and defense, but Salah has not been at his best.
Yeah, can I be honest? I think it's mostly luck. I think it's mostly luck with Liverpool. We have seen them over the years win so many games 4-2 or 5-3 that we ignore the fact that they're allowing a lot of goals. And now that they're allowing a lot of goals and not scoring, it's just kind of glaring. As you were saying that, I pulled it up. Salah has 7 goals and 4 assists. His XG is 10 and over 4. He's just not getting those goals that are coming out of a shot that you say, wow, only Salah could do that because nothing was there. So maybe he's not conjuring those sort of ethereal, angelic moments. And the other thing I want to say, I think Darwin Nunez has been snake bit. He has been in so many positions, and I don't know if the numbers will bear it out, but at first look, I think once he gets going, and he will get going, and I should be careful what I say there, because we said the same thing about Timo Werner when the numbers were saying he'll be fine. But Nunez, to me, if him and Salah hit their stride at the same time, they might start winning games 6-3, and Liverpool might need that. Oh, look, a cord.
Well, there you go. Andy, look, another Chelsea player, a new Chelsea player. Who haven't they signed recently? I mean, they're buying players all over the place like it's going out of fashion. But they're actually buying the players they need. Again, you mentioned stockpiling, buying players early because they have a lot of injuries. So maybe they've done their summer business in January. But it doesn't seem to make any sense right now, right? And if you're a Chelsea fan, you're probably quite confused, but excited, but confused at what's going on.
Yeah, you can't say they're looking for deals. You can't say they're looking for superstar players. You can't say it is hard to kind of pinpoint anything beyond projecting past this season, because you spend the money that you do on Mudryk, who might turn out to be a fantastic player, might also be a complete waste of money because of just a lack of being proven at a level anywhere near the Premier League for 38 games a season. And that's the important thing that I think you always got to come back to. So yeah, it feels like they're just kind of throwing money at the moment. If an agent comes to the club and says, hey, this player is available for this price and it's a great price, it's like, oh, okay, we're interested. I don't know. It's the Todd Boehly reign has started questionably, for sure. Like, he's either going to figure things out rather quickly, that he needs somebody that really knows the sport and the game and the inner workings of the business to put in charge of that, or, who knows what Chelsea could become.
And they have added, technical directors, sporting directors, key recruitment people
Sure.
in the last few weeks. But that's what it's been the last few weeks up until now.
They also have to be empowered, though. You can put people in positions, not give them the power, not let them, or playing the puppeteer a little bit, and you get the same results. I think we've seen that a lot at United over the years, haven't we?
Yeah, too many.
I was going to say, ask Paratici.
Yeah, exactly. So too many cooks in the kitchen, maybe for Chelsea there with their recruitment policy. When I look at key battles for this game, I'm looking at Henderson if he does start, Jorginho, that kind of battle there, who controls midfield. Salah against Cucurella, and then maybe Hall down the left wing back area there for Chelsea. That would be, what a moment that will be for the young Chelsea player if he does come up against Salah. And then Alexander-Arnold against Mason Mount down that same kind of flank. I think down that right side for Liverpool, left side for Chelsea. That's really going to be key to this game. Gents, prediction time. I'm going to come to you first, Nick Mendola. What do you got for me?
3-3.
Wow. I hope it is that.
I was going to say 2-2. Chaos, I think, really is the prediction in this game.
Chaos, root for chaos. I'm going to go 2-1 and be boring for Liverpool. I just think they get it over the line. I think they just got the extra quality and experience right now, given all Chelsea's injuries. But hopefully your predictions are correct, because that would be much more exciting. So head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com. We've got the preview, how to watch information, team news, everything else you need from Liverpool against Chelsea this weekend. Massive game. We'll have analysis and reaction during and after the game as well. So we have all angles covered here at PST, and Liverpool against Chelsea, it always delivers drama. I swear it does. This is going to be a great one at Anfield.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.